Good morning, everybody. Each one of us here is a surgeon, an accomplished person in their own right. And there is a motivation behind whatever we do, professionally, personally, otherwise. And the quest of leading human life sometimes is very simple. You want to be happy and you want to be successful. But if you go a little deeper than this, and we realize that everyone's definition about what is happy, what makes you happy is different. And everybody's concept of what really you feel you're successful about is also extremely variable, extremely individualistic, right? So most of us have gone through this cycle in the formative stage when you start your careers. Each one has this driven and these ambitions, that you want to be professionally accomplished. You want to be successful through name, fame, money. It transpires into surgical excellence, that quest to become a better surgeon, peer recognition, academics. Then comes mentorship, philanthropy, giving back to society in various ways. Along with this, we want that so-called financial success. So your savings, investments, portfolio management, entrepreneurship, and that concept that your money makes you more money, that all drives us to accomplish something. But with this comes other baggage. There are certain health issues which creep in, stress which creeps in. It has a reflection on your personal relationships, your family, your friends, your socialization, everything. And few of us, even the juniors, have faced this concept of burnout also. So there is a word of caution about all this. The single-minded persuasion of so-called success in society will have its own side effects. So what is the best way? Try to do what you love, right? So it's a very famous saying that it's not the success which is the key to happiness, but if you keep on doing what makes you happy, you will invariably be successful. Right? And the way to look at your work, what you do in life, is just ask yourself, are you passionate about it? Do you love what you do? And if you do that, all this stress and other concepts will go in there, right? So I will always feel that I'm extremely lucky that I got to do what I loved. I get paid on top of it to do what I love. And this is the only branch probably the person who pays you also says thank you. So you start looking at your profession as something which you extremely love, you're passionate about, which is a hobby, right? So the key to success probably is to find out 3 hobbies. First one, for which you get paid about. Second one, which keeps you in shape, like Abha has told you about physical fitness. And the third one is to be creative. So my third hobby, other than the physical fitness, is basically to be with nature. Simply because after a stressful career, after stressful work, nature is the greatest place to heal and recharge. So whenever I used to go close to nature, I started taking a part of it with me, capture it through my lens, capture it through camera. So I'm just going to go through a few photographs which I've taken over a period of time, and also to tell you about my passionate hobby, the main hobby, which is photography and nature photography. So it is all started with simple clicks through your mobile, simple clicks through your shoot and shoot cameras, taking landscapes. It also went on to then making it better, going to coastal areas, to islands, underwater, and then getting better colors and capturing. And then I realized this is what really makes me happy. I persuaded it further, went on to do still photography, something with nature. And then I realized human life is all about colors. It's about a frame. It's about looking at things which just makes you happy. Each one of us has a hobby. Like Dr. Kailash is an accomplished tennis player. Samir is a great dancer. I know Ajay so many times is a great reader, and we always exchange so many things. So each one of us has a hobby which makes you happy, certainly pursue, right? I just got lucky that I have something here which I can actually show and share, which I do through social sites, and many of my friends tell me that they also are happy just to look at these things. Just look at what exemplary gift that nature has and which we miss just being in the OR all the time. So just I went forward and started clicking few organisms close to my work, home, not just nature. And then I realized there is so much to nature just beyond the scenery. And this is an old saying that if you take out the wildlife, it is just scenery. So then I looked at wildlife, then starts visiting many sanctuaries. This is all Indian wildlife, not difficult to capture. You just go early in the morning, it's all out there. Then you start capturing through the lenses, difficult movement, different things, project tigers. And then you start getting closer and closer to nature in a very different way. You start appreciating, you start absorbing, you start taking part of it with you, which invigorates you. And I just realized that probably my motivation to work is improving. Then one day I was in Kenya because Kenyan Orthopaedic Association called me for demonstration surgeries, and I went to Masai Mara. And I just found that it's like a studio. In Africa, if you go, even if you don't know photography, you can capture things. But when I look at these things which I captured 10 years back, still every photograph, it brings out memories. It brings back a moment, just like you see your own photographs of young days of family moments snapped. And that is the beauty of photography, that you're taking a part of it with you, you're preserving it, and you have this nostalgia when you look back. So all these moments, different photographs, but these are not highly appreciated, qualified photographs according to me, because it's just out there. You're sitting in a gypsy or a Land Rover, wildlife is there on the savannas and you just capture. So then you try to go towards more rarer things. You want better expertise. You start toying with your post-processing. You start adding editing to it. You want to make a better frame. So same animal, similar way, but how it looks better. So that is something all of us share as surgeons. We want to make things better. We want to pursue things which challenge you. You want to increase your expertise, right? And then I realized that even though I'm taking time off from my professional or personal life, this is what is making me happy, right? So then I stopped thinking about whether I have others' approval. I just want to be better in what I do. This is just 1 hour from Pune. For it took me 40 years of my life to realize that beauty is so close. Just you need to get up, go there, and I could come back and pursue my surgical excellence. Right? So this is just 1.5 hours from Pune as well as Mumbai. So then we started doing things which makes you happier. Then that thing crept in. I want better species, I want better colors, I want better resolution, I want better movements. So whether you like it or not, every hobby of yours also has a silent approval from your friends, from your family, from the peers. When you share a photograph, if somebody says you're a good photographer, it's a great photograph, it gives you the encouragement, just like how it happened with your surgery. When the patient says thank you, you out to feel better. So then how you go from decompressions to deformities to endox spondylectomies, better and better photography was a quest. I'll just go through few species. I'm not going to bore you with all this, right? So I zoomed down to bird photography. And when I analyze why, because it's the most colorful thing, most varied, it takes you to different terrains. You can have pelagic wildlife on Maldives and Lakshadweep, and you can go up to 18,000, 20,000 feet in the Himalayas, and still there are birds. There are more than 12,000 species all over the world. I don't think in lifetime you can see all that. And this is challenging in terms of physical fitness, also the acumen which you lead, and most importantly, this is the only thing human beings can't do. We can swim, we can run, we can do everything, but flying is beyond us, and that's what enthralls me. And then you just try to go for better and better. Then you start thinking of frames. Then this is close to Kotagiri, so when I was in Coimbatore, attended Ganga, I took out a day. So then I learned to mix business with pleasure. Whenever you go, carry your camera gear, you never know, you can have beautiful movements. Along with the academic knowledge that you carry back, you also come back with beautiful movements. And then the intent to continue with what makes you happy becomes a strength. Then you just pursue and you unabashedly follow what makes you happy and become better. And the beauty of these things is this hobby took me to places otherwise I would not have gone. Everybody can visit Great Run of Kutch, but these photographs were on the India-Pakistan border because I knew the Brigadier General over there. I took my photographic gear, and these are all movements. This is at 15,000 feet, minus 27 degrees. We went and I could capture a snow leopard, which was a dream. Now, all this may not mean a lot to people who don't love wildlife, but each movement, when captured, brings a different nostalgia to me. This induced me to become more fit. You have to carry 14 kilos on your back, minus 30 degrees, climb from 12,000 to 14,000 every day, stand in that temperature for a long time. And then you realize that this is what you do through surgery. This is what the excellence is. This is what you have a passion, and this makes you happy. So different terrains, Chopta, Uttarakhand, then Arunachal, so many places here to go. Otherwise, I would have just gone to places with my family, with my friends, or for my fitness or mountaineering. So I got to see nook and corner of so many beautiful places of this planet. Then I wanted specific frames. So this is monarch pheasant on snow. Very few photographers have it. Arunachal, Namdafa, different places, then playing with the colors, playing with the flight photographies, going forward, finding out rare species. This is golden eagle. I was one of the first ones to photograph it in Chopta, not in Ladakh or high altitude. Then rare species like gray-sided laughing thrush. So then I started getting fulfillment when certain people approached me to take my prints into some wildlife books. I have the privilege that I could send even e-books, then calendars. Like next year, certain hospitals in Pune have asked for my images. But I desisted from sending this to a competition because then I realized I'm making my hobby the same way my profession affects me. Then I used to get stressed whether I'll get an award. So I desisted from it, just pursued excellence. This is also a rare species, the Indian wolf, nearing extinction. But then I realized that slowly I'm also turning a wildlife lover to a naturalist to an environmentally conscious conservationist. You can't just keep on going there and like these things without trying to help, right? So the importance of wildlife. So this is Himalayan, Tibetan wolf, shot at 15,000 feet, extremely rare, and this print was also asked to me by an American photographer for his book. So slowly you realize that how important nature is, how important wildlife is, how it affects all our lives. So it doesn't remain just about a very selfish thought of happiness or carrying a frame home. It's all about giving back to nature, and this just goes on. Tragopan in Namtofa, extremely rare. This was also printed. So more and more species, then closer photographs, then portraits, high resolution. Then the quest was to see every feather, to make a better print, then colors. So all these things slowly made me a better photographer. But most importantly, every time I'm in nature, I don't have to remember what I want to do or what a good frame I need to carry. I'm just happy being there. And this is what nature does to you. You just enjoy these frames. Like this one, a bird just had caught the snake on the right side, on the left side you can see. I called it kiss of death, and this frame was also appreciated a lot. Or something which is closer, extremely difficult to shot a bird from the front. So all this made me probably a better human being in the sense of appreciating nature, being close to it, caring for nature, caring for the earth. So it has given me qualities which exactly how Abhay said about fitness, why you require it for being a better surgeon. It teaches you patience. Birds can't have appointments. They don't wait for you. It is not necessary that a certain bird will come when you want. So you have to have patience, perseverance, physical fitness, endurance. Also, the knowledge about those species and their habits gives you a better frame. Most importantly, you have to deal with the camera gear and the lenses. So it is as technically demanding as a minimal invasive surgery. You need to keep on upgrading. You need to go to better equipment. You want the best of the line. You also need to understand Photoshop or other post-processing. And you want a better frame out of all this. And that gives you a motivation to keep on upgrading, which is again essential. Most of us, when we started our spine surgeries, there was no such thing as minimal invasive. Look where we are today. So there is a definite parallel philosophy in both things, what you do professionally, what you do as a hobby. Most importantly, it keeps me young at heart. There is a sense of adventure and willingness to go to any adverse conditions. So just to share a few friends to conclude, so this is all which makes me happy. Sometimes it's not even about photography. I have so many times just sat there and appreciated the beauty of an organism or a wildlife and just soaked it and come back. I just didn't feel like disturbing that particular bird also through my camera clicking. But so many things to do, and most importantly, whenever I'm back in nature, I just start as if it's a new day, you start a new adventure. Just like I had butterflies in my stomach when you start certain surgery for the first time, a new technique for the first time. So I extended this to underwater photography. I became an advanced certified international scuba diver. Then it became mundane. I went on to further things, more demanding things, went on to different terrains, etc., etc. I would not take more time. But what it has given me is a huge thing. I did not require any different stress relaxation. I've run marathons, I've done cycling, I've done climbing, everything. But now I feel that along with it, if I carry my camera gear, I capture and make things a nostalgic thing that I can look back through, it is much better than just doing things in a mundane way. Right? The stress relaxation was important. Also, the sense of self-worth just goes out of the window. When you are standing in front of a peak which is 26,000 feet and you're at a footfall, you know it doesn't matter whether you're a spine surgeon or a surgeon or whether you're poor or rich or whatever. You also learn to have happiness through simplicity. It is just simple thing. You go out in nature, you realize this is what human beings have done since hunter-gatherer days till now. And we need to respect this planet. This is the only home we have. Like your body is the only place you're going to be. Start respecting, start appreciating. That brings a work-life balance. Actually, it has increased my motivation to work, right? So I continue to work. Each one of us knows about Maslow's pyramid. So through your hobbies, you can go to the top. You can share all your materialistic wishes and all your afflictions and attachments, which is a source of stress, not just work. I don't think I met any surgeon who says, I'm stressed out because I'm operating. We're stressed out because we go beyond our boundaries and we don't realize what tires you, right? So your hobby is the one which gives you that motivation. So particularly wildlife photography has taken me to the parts and nooks of this planet which otherwise I wouldn't done. I'm a better person in terms of fitness because of my hobby today. And it has taught me that whatever you do, whether it is parenting, being a friend, whether you pursue your hobby or anything, becoming better in that particular thing is the quest. That is the excellence of life you have to look at, and becoming environmental conscious should be the hallmark of every human being. So just to conclude, when 2020 January, I clicked these things in southern Yunnan in China. Just last 2 minutes, Kathy? Yeah. Yes. So I was there on 17th January. When I landed in China, I didn't see about Corona. On 19th Jan, I got a news that there is something like this in Wuhan. There was no Google, there was no Facebook, there was only one English-speaking man in that remote village in the eastern Himalayas in southern Yunnan. I clicked all these photographs, and by the time I came back, the world changed. 26th Jan, I landed in Kolkata airport. 28th Jan was the last flight from China which came to India, right? So these photographs are more special to me, right? Because after that, I think post-pandemic, everything has changed entirely. This photograph was recently called and asked for getting printed in one of the books. So I always look at these photographs because I don't know when I will ever be able to visit that place, that country. So these are all memories, just like when you look back with nostalgia, what you have done in life, it tells you. And it also gives me a conviction that I want to do better in terms of hobby, personally, professionally, and more motivation. So my hobby has given me so many things. Like each one of you, I'm sure, has your own hobbies, right? And through all this, through all your persuasion for excellence, you need to derive happiness. Each one of you have your own ways. Photography is mine. It has helped me to escape the rat race. I don't even think about what others are doing, how many others are doing, and what I have done. I don't link my happiness to the figure on the paycheck at the end of the month and anything. And all of this, after a certain age and excellence, need this. You need something which completely recharges you every day, gives you a better motivation than just name, numbers, and money. And it gives you an inner growth, which is the most important thing of all. So photography is my love affair with my life. You will have your own hobbies. Thank you so much for your patient hearing.